So what are like maybe an advice that you can give people regarding pre-construction when people are planning to buy pre-construction?
I will say, they need to review that contract. It's a lengthy contract, and over there are so many fees that I will say they are hidden. A levy. What is a levy? Like, a lot of people, they don't know.
Normally I see with my clients, especially lately, there's a lot of people having problems with the occupancy fees.
Yes.
And that's a topic that I see that is crazy because you're paying so much money. What do you think about that?
Hello everyone, I'm Daniela. This is Financial GPS. Today we're here with Berenia Torres. She's a real estate lawyer. Berenia, what can you tell us about yourself?
Thank you, Daniela, first of all, for having me here. Well, I am a lawyer, and I actually specialize in real estate law, family law, immigration law, wills and states. So I do a little bit of everything, basically.
I'm here to have you. I'm really happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm really happy because I remember that we know each other for a few years, and we started 10 years ago in a seminar that we were helping the Spanish community. And for me, it's a really special memory because it was my first one. It was the first time that I was there with you, and we talked in front of a bunch of people, and I think it was around 200 people that show up to the event. And look at us now. Now we're here doing what we like, and hopefully we can share all the knowledge that we have to the community and help them out with the process, because real estate is a topic that, especially for new immigrants and young couples and first-time home buyers, is a topic that they need to have a clearance of what they're doing, what they're paying, and that's why I like to show my clients specifically what they have to pay for, and we have some questions for you to clarify everything. So one of the first questions that we have is, what is the common errors that you see when people are buying or selling real estate?
David, I will say that they do not have the complete knowledge of all the expenses that they need to incur, in closing these transactions. For example, if they are selling, sometimes they do it without the knowledge that they need to pay a penalty to the bank in case that they are breaking the contract. Sometimes as you're a mortgage agent, they actually sign contracts for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And if you're breaking that contract, then of course you will have to pay penalties. So that is very important because the penalties can be very, very high. So that will be, I will say, number one priority. Before selling, they need to take that into consideration. And let's say, for example, if they are purchasing a property also, they need to look at all these expenses and all these, for example, the land transfer tax, that is a big, it's a big thing that they need to pay, especially if they're actually buying in Toronto in comparison to different areas in the GTA. So I will say the lack of knowledge, and I will say over there is very important for the real estate to guide them, because that's the first point whenever they're actually approaching, to do these transactions.
Something that I normally see with my clients is that they don't know that they have to pay commission when it comes to real estate, but they also have to pay the tax, the HST, for the commission. So when they come for closing, they have no idea what is that money coming from. So I like to explain my clients at front what are those fees and also the penalties, right? I guide them to call the lender and find out what will be the penalty if there's any, or what specific day you have to close the deal to avoid the penalty. Because sometimes some lenders, they allow you to close 5 days before renewal, but some other lenders, they have to do it specifically the same day.
It depends.
And if you pass 1 day, they can charge you a penalty. So you have to be really careful with that.
Very, very careful. Yeah.
Basically, it comes down to like being well informed about everything. That's like the mistake that you see the most, right? The people are like, they have no clue about a lot of important things. They come here like to your office and they're like basically blind.
Yes.
When it comes to a lot of numbers and a lot of information.
And the problem is whenever they come to us, everything is done, the agreements are signed. So in case, I have clients that they say, I am not going to actually close this transaction if I need to pay $30,000 in fees. But the problem is if you don't do it now, then, you're in breach of a contract. So you need to be careful, and it's very, very important for the realtor actually to explain, I will say, in the beginning of the transaction.
Yeah. The problem is for you at the end, right?
Yeah,
you have to deal with all these,
yes,
with upset people, and yes, I know.
Yes.
So what are like maybe an advice that you can give people regarding pre-construction when people are planning to buy pre-construction?
I will say, they need to review that contract. It's a lengthy contract, and over there are so many fees that I will say they are hidden. For example, they're gonna say we're gonna charge you this for a levy. What is a levy? Like a lot of people they don't know. To plant trees, they are gonna charge $500, or it depends from builder to builder. So development cost. Very important, they can be high as well. HST is included in the purchase price or not. So I will say number one advice is to actually check that contract and make sure you understand all the terms and conditions that they are writing in there.
Yeah, normally I see that when it comes to buying a pre-construction, there's so many fees that you don't know until the end, right? And that's something that I like to point out, because some people, they don't want to use a lawyer because they have to pay a fee, right? So what will be the fee to review the contract with you?
Yeah, it will be in between $250. I will say the maximum, it will be $400. In our case, we actually take care of those expenses at the end. Like they pay us up front, but we are actually going to cover it whenever the closing comes. We actually reduce it from the fee.
Yeah.
Which is not much, really, if you think about the benefits that's going to bring you, right, in the long term. Like you understand well what you're getting into, and really it's not that much that you have to spend.
That's correct. And another thing is that you can negotiate also all those fees that they are actually putting in there. You can actually cap them. You can say, what, for all these development expenses, we want to cap it to, I don't know, certain amount. And the builder can say, no, not that amount, but this one. But there is a possibility to cap it.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And normally I see with my clients, especially lately, there's a lot of people having problems with the occupancy fees.
Yes.
And that's a topic that I see that is crazy, because you're paying so much money. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's another thing that probably, if they go to a lawyer and they check this contract, the lawyer will explain, whenever the occupancy comes, you need to pay, first of all, you will have to pay a proportion of the property taxes. You will have to pay the common expenses, and also you will have to pay a proportion, like whatever you owe still to the builder, you will have to pay it at the interest rate that is at the moment, at that particular moment. So it is quite, it's quite expensive, especially right now whenever the interest rates they are high. So you just need to be careful, and also you will need fire insurance from the date of the occupancy.
Something that I noticed is that the payment that you're doing is only, all the money goes towards the builder. There's no principal, you're not saving anything. So all the money is like you're paying rent to the builder. So people, they need to know what they're paying, right? And something that I noticed is that right now, because rates are so high, I have a case of a client. Right now, they're paying occupancy fees of $4,000, around $4,000, and the builder allowed them to rent it. So the maximum that they can get for rent is $2,500. So they have to come up with $1,500 every month to cover the difference. And I think that's something that people need to know, right? So when you're buying a condo, you need to be aware that whatever is in the future, whatever rates we have in the future is going to affect the occupancy fees.
Yeah, that's correct.
So you have to be really careful about that.
And in this case, for your client, also the builder was allowing them to actually rent the place, but some of them, they put restrictions that they don't allow that. So it's kind of...
It basically depends on the builder. So
Yeah.
that's something that maybe they should check with
That's correct.
right? When
Yeah.
they check the contract at the beginning and see if that's something that
Yes.
is going to affect them or not. Yes.
Can you tell me if the builders can change those laws anytime, or can they do that?
There is this is a private contract in between the builder and the buyer. So they have their own terms that you either abide them, or probably you can negotiate them, or if not, you will have just, to follow whatever they are saying. But in some cases, you can negotiate them.
Okay, thank you. I want to ask you, what are the normal closing costs that people pay when they purchase or sell?
See, like if you call any lawyer, a lawyer will tell you, oh, our fees are $899, $999 plus HST. That is just for the legal fees for lawyers. Besides of that, we will have to charge disbursements, which are all the costs that every time we pull the parcel, we need to make sure everything is deleted from the parcel, because the buyer actually needs to get a clear title. So all those are, expenses that lawyers, they need to incur. And besides of that, land transfer tax, big thing. Also, in the statement of adjustments, there is an adjustment that we actually do for property taxes. Like, for example, if the seller, he paid the taxes for the whole year, and you are buying that property in February, then you will have to pay him back.
Yeah.
And that will be also with the common expenses. For example, if it's a building.
Yeah,
with
and
an apartment.
those are things that you don't know until you're closing the deal, right?
That's correct.
Few weeks before closing, right?
I will say it depends. Whenever you sign the agreement of purchase and sale, there is a title search. So we are going to come to know around that time.
Perfect.
Which is 2 weeks before closing.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I give my clients estimates about closing costs, but I always tell them, you know what, it's better to have extra money, just if in case you have to pay, but it's better to be safe and make sure that you have the funds to close the deal, because you don't want to lose.
Better safe than sorry, like
That's
they say.
that's true.
Yes.
It's a very good advice. Yeah.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you consider that are important when regarding like private mortgages?
Or private mortgages. As the borrower, you need to understand all these terms and conditions that they're actually writing in that commitment. For example, this is for how many months it is amortized or not. Normally, this is just for, it's interest only. These borrowers, they need to understand also that if it's just interest, if you are actually asking for $50,000 at the end of the term, you will have to pay this $50,000 back. Besides of that, you will have to pay for the lender's lawyer. There are also lender's fees. And for if the mortgage is more than $75,000, it is required another lawyer to do independent legal representation. So all these costs, they need to come into consideration.
That's something that I see lately. A lot of people are looking for private money, and I think it's really important to show them what are the fees. And if they have an exit, they can pay it off. Because normally what I see is that people that are not aware of that, and the results at the end is going to be the same thing. They may have to sell the house, lose everything, instead of getting the knowledge and know upfront what are they paying for. So basically, something that I like to tell my clients is that when you get a private mortgage, you have to pay the lender's lawyer and you have to pay your lawyer at the beginning and at the end.
Yes, for the discharge.
For the discharge. So it's important because everything adds up. You're not only paying interest only, but you're also paying legal fees for 2 lawyers. And that's something that people need to know and be aware of. Of course, if you have the game plan of paying off the private mortgage and save your house, perfect, do it. But if you're going to end up selling it, think about it twice.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to do anything if you get a private mortgage and have the same results at the end.
Yeah. And also the restrictions that they actually write in that commitment. Sometimes the lender, they say, this mortgage is, 12 months and you cannot prepay it. You need to go for the 12 months. Some of them, they say, yes, you can prepay it in 6 months or whatever time, but you will have to pay, let's say, for example, 3 months interest. So those are things that you need to take into consideration. Mm-hmm.
And Berenia, thank you for your time. And just to close this podcast, I just want to know, what service do you provide in your office? I know we'll be talking about real estate, but I know you can offer more things for the community. What are they?
I actually specialize, as I said in the beginning, in real estate law. I do wills and states, very important. Our community needs to know a little bit more about wills and your rights and all everything that you need to put together before something happens, especially if you have kids. I also do family law, immigration, and business law. So we are here to help the community. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Berenia, for being here with us. I am Daniela. This is my husband, David, and we will see you next time on Financial GPS.
Thank you.
Thank you.